Under your purview with Technology Workforce Solutions, you also have VMS, a vendor-neutral solution. And as we've looked at the evolution of, what AMN does, what other workforce solutions company does, we've evolved from a travel nurse company to an MSP provider to tech-centric total talent solutions. And now we're seeing a little bit more adoption of technology. Can you talk to me a little bit more about this sort of continuum of offerings that we have for our clients, master supplier, vendor neutral, and now I feel like we're hearing a lot more about hybrid. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I would just say, coming out of the pandemic, I think many clients and many folks across the healthcare industries are just trying to explore and understand all of their options across the continuum of workforce solutions. So to your point, there's kind of maybe three key pieces. One is vendor neutral. In between that, you've got in between vendor neutral and master supplier, you've got hybrid, and then of course master supplier. Just to keep it really simple, when you think about master supplier, you have one key leader driving most, if not all, of your fills for your program. Vendor neutral is really open market. So really, as a hospital healthcare system, you're placing your needs and your requirements from a labor standpoint, and it's placed out there for the full market to work through to fill what your needs are. And then hybrid kind of sits in the middle. It's really almost the best of both worlds. So it's still very much a vendor neutral first sort of solution, but selectively you can get some of those master supplier services that you would typically subscribe to under master supplier within that option. And what we're finding right now is you have clients kind of in very different places. And so different solutions fit very different needs, right? So the ones that want more control, transparency, you tend to see them sit more in the vendor neutral side. And then the ones that are, focused a little bit more on clinical quality and some of those sort of pieces, they tend to sit more on the master supplier side. So it's really more about meeting the client where they are. I think one of the things that's maybe necessitated some of these changes is that we went through the pandemic, travel rates were a little bit elevated versus what they were pre-pandemic. And now as we start to normalize a little bit further, as we're getting further and further away from the pandemic, you're actually starting to see those deltas between perm versus contingent rates start to narrow. And so that could also drive a different set of changes too for folks, right? So when you're the labor economics say X, maybe you respond with Y. And as those economics start to change a little bit further,